Okay, so we need to connect our lines, our parallel lines, our transversals, and that kind of stuff back into the algebra field because math is all related. So when we were doing GeoGebra, we noticed over on that left-hand side, when we drew in a line, it popped up an equation over there for us. That equation was written in what we call standard form. It was the x and y on the same side with the number on the other side. That's standard form. We're going to look at two other forms today, namely the slope-intercept form and the point-slope form drawn on a line. But the big thing today is, can we get the equation of the lines ourselves? It's given some information. So let's see what we have here. Okay, first thing is we have two postulates, but we already know these postulates because we did them way back when we were doing coordinate geometry. First postulate 3.2 says two non-vertical lines have the same slope if and only if they are parallel. So for lines to be parallel, they have to have the same slope, and if I have two lines that have the same slope, I know they're parallel. So their slopes have to be the same. And 3.3 says two non-vertical lines are perpendicular if and only if the product of their slopes is -1. So what does that tell us? That means m1 times m2 would have to equal -1. What did we say? We said negative reciprocals. See if I can get that one to pop up. Yeah, negative reciprocals. That's what we said. Wait for us to remember what it was. I don't need you all the way out. Don't need you all the way out. Okay, so now what does that mean to us? We can write equations of lines. And you may remember this from algebra, that an equation of a line can be written given any of the following conditions. If you're given a slope and a y-intercept, you can write the equation of the line. If you're given a slope and the coordinates of a point on the line, you can do it. Or if you're just given coordinates of 2 points on the line. So this last one would say if I'm just giving 2 points, I have to be able to find slope. Ooh, I don't know what that was. I'll be able to find slope. Now hopefully you remember how to find slope. Ignore the bell, it doesn't count for you guys. Okay, find slope. Remember that's m equals y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. You've got to be able to do that. You've got to be able to find slope given 2 points. And the y's are always on top. And a reminder also, we said slope was what we called a rate of change, meaning how quickly is that changing going up and down as to compared to the right. Now, whether or not you're coming straight out of algebra or out of 8th grade math or out of pre-algebra into this geometry course, you should be able to write the equation of a line because we did it in all of those courses. So now, slope-intercept form of the line is y equals mx plus b, where m is the slope and b is the y-intercept. So y equals mx plus b, this right here is our general equation, y equals mx plus b. And then notice that if I actually have numbers in there, like I have here on the right-hand side, the slope is the number in front of the x. The other number is our y-intercept. That slope is our rate of change. How quickly is something changing? Now, if they give us a decimal like we have right here, that is 0.07, that means it's 7 over 100. I would go up 7 over 100 spaces. Kind of crazy for that, but that's what that would mean. So that's slope-intercept form. That's probably the one we're most familiar with seeing. Now, there's another form here, and it's called the point-slope form. Now, notice it's an equation right here. I should do that in the other pen. That's the one I want right there. One magic pen. There, I got my equation. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Now, here's the thing to realize. The y and the x in this equation are just y and x. They are the variables. They remain there forever and ever and ever. They're the variables. The x1 and the y1, those are numbers from a point. The m is the slope. It's a number. So the x and the y remain. The x1, y1, and the m are all numbers. So now here's what we're given down here. We're given the point x1, y1. That goes in for those. And we're given a slope m. That's the equation. So that's their point-slope form. So what do we have to do with this? Well, if I'm given something like this, I might be asked to write the equation of the line K that I have here, or the line L that I have here. So what we have to do is we have to figure out some information about it. So let's take a look at K. Let's do this first one, K. I notice right here is where it crosses the y-axis. So I know its B is 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. B equals 6. Now, if I could figure out the slope, I'd be in great shape. It appears to be right there that it again crosses the point. So that means I went down 1 and over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Down 1 over 8. Down 1 would be negative 1 over 8. So y equals a negative 1/8 x plus 6 is the equation of my line. When they give it to us on the graph, it should be easy for us. Okay, so let's look at another one. Switch colors. It says line L. So again, first thing I'm going to look at is, where does L cross the y-axis? Well, it crosses the y-axis at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And what is its slope? I just got to find another point on the line. Well, there's several of them here. It looks like it's right there. So as I look at that, each one of those is up 1 and over 1. So my slope is up 1 over 1. If I reduce it, I just get 1. So my slope is 1. So y equals 1x plus 5. Now, had B been a negative number, I would have said minus. Do I have to have the 1 there? No, I don't have to have the 1 there because it's automatically implied in the equation. So y equals 5. Y equals x plus 5 is the equation. Now notice these other two problems say I want a line perpendicular to line L, and it contains this point negative 1, 6. So I have a point, and I can figure out what the slope is. It's going to be perpendicular to L. Well, L had a slope of 1. So that means the slope I need here has to be negative 1 because of our rule up here above. I would need, ooh, it didn't go far enough up. I need negative reciprocals, or when I multiply the two slopes, I get negative 1 right at the very top of the screen. Well, since my slope was 1, if I multiply it by negative 1, I get to negative 1. So I have a slope of negative 1, and I got a point that's negative 1, 6. Okay, well, that's kind of a neat feature there. So the first thing I'm going to do is y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. I like to use this equation. So y minus, the y1 is 6, equals the slope is negative 1, x minus negative 1, the x1. So since this is my x1 and that's my y1, I plug them right into the formula exactly for them, and there's my m. So now I got y minus 6 equals, I'm going to do this right here, add a line, change the sign. So I got a negative x minus 1. That negative has to go to both numbers. And now I'll add the 6 to both sides. So y would equal a negative x plus 5. That would be the equation that I would have. Okay, so let's try a different one. Let's say I want a line parallel to K and it passes to the point 7, 0. Well, K's equation was over here at a negative 1/8 x plus 6. If I want it parallel, what does that tell us about the slope? That tells us that the slope... Got to get back down to where we're at. Okay. It tells me that the slope has to equal a negative 1/8. It has to be the same as line K. Since it had to be the same, the slope is a negative 1/8, and I've got the point 7, 0. So I have my x1 and my y1. So I go to that point slope form, and I say y minus the y1 is 0 equals m, negative 1/8, x minus the x1 minus 7. Now I clean that up. Y minus 0 is just y. Negative 1/8 times x is negative 1/8 x. Negative 1/8 times the minus 7 would give me a positive. 7 times 1/8 is just 7/8. There I have my equations. That's what you're going to be expected to do on the assignment. The assignment is on page 150. It is the practice quiz 2. Just 10 problems. A couple more you're going to have to write the equations. Somewhere you're going to have to find slope. Stuff that you've done before. All right, you can get started on that.